and done enough to become your starting quarterback?
I think both of those guys have played really well. I think Malik coming in, he's whenever he's been out there, he's played great the last 2 weeks. He's gotten dinged up a couple of times. He's had to come out, and Evan's come in and played great as well. So, I'll say what I've always said is that, whoever's the healthiest and gives us the best chance, that's who will play. It's, both of those guys have played good. We've been able to move the football and had some big plays. We've taken care of the ball for the most part. So they both can run. I think we saw that, with Evan in that last run he had to score. So we'll play the guy who's the most healthiest. I think that's probably been the biggest question, I hate injuries, and that's part of the game, but whoever the most healthiest guy will play.
Coach, looking at this game with Clemson, and not sure about in terms of like your motivational speeches or anything like that, do you have to bring up last year at all to these guys, or do you just move forward and just focus on this?
No, we hadn't talked anything about last year. Since day one, we've just moved forward, and we are who we are right now, and we're just going to do the best we can today and tomorrow, and so on and so forth. And we get out there, just have a great game plan, and try to go execute, and see what happens. But it has nothing to do with last year. Two totally different teams. They're different. We're different. So we don't even mention it.
Following up on that, the idea that you've exceeded expectations with largely the same cast, obviously a few freshmen, but is there anything schematic, technique-wise, or in terms of physical development that would explain your improvement, or is it just culture change and a toxic atmosphere gone?
Well, I think it's I think it's a lot of how we've done things over a period of the last 10 months. Trying to be consistent and really holding each other accountable. I think that's probably the biggest change that I've seen is just the accountability that we've had within our team. Showing up every single day, and it's the little things, but showing up on time, for study hall or class or weights or treatment, going to breakfast and lunch. All these little things. And if you start doing things right, then you start doing things right on the football field. Within our DNA, we want to be a competitive team, and this is every single day that what we do in the weight room or on the field, we want to compete at it. And I think when you start doing that every day, then you expect to win. And so that translates onto the football field, and I hope that's what we've been able to do. And then what we do, I don't know, scheme-wise, I really didn't look at anything from the past, quite honestly. We're just kind of doing what we do, and we've been fortunate to have some success and be able to score some points, and I think that's why we're sitting where we are. But I think a lot of it has to do with guys wanting to be here, coming into the building every single day. I think that's probably the biggest thing.
As part of that, do you see that as you started to win some games, conference games particularly, that you're getting more buy-in? Do you see that picking up in any way?
I would like to think that the guys get more confidence. I think because you win, the BC win was huge, first ACC win in a long time, and so last week's practice, and the pep in everybody's steps a little bit better. I think just because they get a little bit of confidence to know, hey, we can play with these guys, and then certainly to go on a road and beat a ranked team. This week, guys came back in yesterday, excited to be back here. You're actually playing for something. I think just that confidence to know that you can compete, I think, is probably more so than anything, and you're eager to get back in here to get the game plan. I always say to our guys on Tuesdays, they kind of get back and we can start meeting again on Tuesday. For them to walk into the meeting room, they're excited about, all right, coach, what we got this week? What are the plays this week? They're just kind of excited to see the game plan. That's fun. I think when you get to that point, it's fun for the guys, it's fun for our staff, and then let's go out on Tuesday's practice. Because a lot of times 18 to 20-year-olds, they don't want to go practice. But these guys are excited. They're excited. What's the plan? Let's go out here and execute the plan on Tuesday, Wednesday practice, because we know that'll lead to success on game day, and they're starting to do that. That's part's been neat.
Scott, you mentioned the UNC-Clemson game. Clemson undefeated, but they looked a little bit beatable in moments this year. So what can you take from those games, and what's it going to take to beat them this year?
Yeah, except for this past weekend. I was just watching that film. It's 42-0 in third quarter. I was like, wow, man. They turned it on. I think when they had the off week or whatever, and everybody's talking about, what is this Clemson thing? They won 21 straight games. I think 14 out of the last 15 games they've won by more than 14 points. It's unbelievable what people want to try to write a story about. This is not the Clemson, that we're used to. What? These guys are good, man. They're coached well. They expect to win, and they have a lot of talent. And, again, 18 to 22-year-old guys, they went into Chapel Hill, where you're a little flat. I don't know, maybe give some credit to Carolina. Maybe they played well, defensively had a great plan, kind of confused Clemson a little bit. They were made enough plays on offense, and next thing you know, you're sitting there in the second half, man, this is a tight ball game. That's how you end up beating a team like Clemson, though. You play it close and you hang around a little bit, and there, next thing you know, you're at the beginning of the fourth quarter and you got a game. Now, who knows what's going to happen to that point? They had an opportunity. Carolina goes down and, they try to go for the win, go for two, and didn't get it. But really, really close. And so, it just shows that you have to show up each and every week, or I don't care who you're playing, you can get beat. I think, and that proves that. So hopefully that'll, our guys obviously have seen that and know that, we got an opportunity. If we go out and execute, we have an opportunity to hang in the game.
Coach, I know Dez probably one of the hottest receivers in the ACC right now. 3 straight 100-yard games. He talked a couple weeks ago about being a more complete receiver, but outside of his blocking, what do you see as what stands out the most for him on film? Is it his route running or his size? Or?
Yeah, well, I think it's a combination. He has great size and he does have speed. And that combination is hard to defend. For a corner out there, he can kind of overmatch some of those corners with his size, and he's got the speed to get away from them. I think that's two things. And he's had a great run here. We're trying to find ways to get him the football in space because he can break tackles also with that strength that he has. But I love the way he blocks. He's just right now he's a complete receiver. He's doing exactly what we're asking him to do, is to block on those running plays, and then when we call your number, go make the play. And he's been able to make it. It was unfortunate. We got a holding penalty on another one of his catches should have had, which is a big play. He's fun to watch, man. I just sit back there. I got a great view right there on the sideline watching him make those plays, and hopefully he'll continue to finish out this season, have a great year. But he's fun to be around on a practice field. He's just he's exactly what you want as a wide receiver.
Scott, when people talk about Clemson, obviously Lawrence comes up, but Etienne is really, really good.
Yeah.
What about their line and about him in the running game is so difficult?
Well, I just keep a lot of pressure on you, because quarterback can run also, so you have to defend that and have somebody waiting for him. When you do that, then the running back lanes maybe have a little bit more lanes there to run because you're defending the quarterback pass, but also they have those stud wide receivers. So when you put all that together, it makes it a difficult offense to defend. I think Etienne is a guy who has the speed. If he breaks the line of scrimmage, can take it to the distance all the way to the end zone. So he's a complete running back. He's a sprint champion coming out of high school, and he's proven that he's one of the better backs in the country. So that's a difficult offense to stop, for certain.
You talk about wanting to run the ball this year, but what have your backs done that have allowed you to expand that part of the game?
Yeah, we got some explosive guys. You look and see what both of those guys have been able to do. They're not huge, but if they get one little bit of crease, they're able to make some big plays. And Hawkins didn't have a great game, but he had some really good runs where he made guys miss in the hole. He's able to bounce it outside and make some big plays. It all starts up front, though. I think that's the key, is up front offensive line, trying to get those blocks. I thought Wake did a good job of stopping in our run game at times Saturday night, and they were selling out for it, but it enabled our quarterbacks to run also. If you combine our quarterbacks had over 120 yards rushing, in that game between the two. And so you can't stop it all. That's the thing. If you're going to stop one part of the offense, then something else should be able to have a lot of yards. And that's how we want our offense to be. If you're shutting the run game, we should be able to throw it, or vice versa. And we feel like we got enough weapons. When you look at the wide receivers, you look at our tight ends, look at our running backs, and then from what our quarterbacks can do, there's enough weapons to go around to where they can't just dial in on one thing. We can do multiple things offensively to move the ball.
Outside the program, I'd say generally the view is you guys have exceeded expectations. What's the view from inside the program?
We don't worry about it. We're taking it day by day to do the best we can. We want to win every game we play. So we're disappointed as far as at the end of those losses. Disappointed about those games, and so we're just taking it day by day to do the best we can do, and we just hope at the end of the season what we've done is good enough, to warrant a good season. I think, I said that at the beginning of the season. What were your expectations this year? Well, to go out and play hard and to put a competitive product on the field. And whatever that is at the end of the year, we hope we've been able to do that. I would say, if you look at a midpoint grade, we've been able to do that. We've been very competitive in our games. and we've played really, really hard. This past game, I mentioned this after the BC, you know, we wear the catapult systems where you're charting, you know, effort and strain and all that, and this was our best game. This was our best game. Our kids played the hardest they played all year in this past week, and that's what we like to see, and that's what we want to see as we move forward.
Coach, at any point, I know you said, obviously you're not looking, Clemson's different, so the Clemson film from last year is going to be different because the personnel's different. At any point over the 10 months here, did you look at that film to see the guys you had, and then if so, how much different is that than what you have now on the field?
No, I didn't look at any film from last year, so I really don't. I can't speak to the question because I didn't see it. When we got in here, we just said, listen, we're cleaning the slate. Wherever you are now, listen, we'll build from it, and we'll grow, and we'll get better as we are right now. Our whole thing was for us. That's why it took a little bit of time. You go spring practice, summer, and fall camp. All right, where can the best play? A guy like Robert Hicks, you know, where can we put him? You know, so we're just kind of looking at guys, and that was our deal, just trying to figure out where can they best help us play and find roles for everybody, and make our team a better team. And I think right now we've kind of settled in that, you know, kind of where everybody's at. So, but I really can't compare to in the past.
Coach, there was a clip that was probably played 40 times in the ACC network. I don't know if you saw this or not, but it's where Coach Ivy had a bloody nose from getting the guys all hyped up, and then there was another clip where Stu Holt's trying to pull it back. Like, what happened in that situation? Was he just trying to get him pumped up, or was it really something going on there? What's kind of the explanation behind that?
It's just a pregame, I don't know, ritual. I don't know what you want to call it, but I mean, Coach Ivy's been doing that his whole coaching career. You know, it's just he's down there with his defensive line and getting those guys going, getting them hyped up pregame. You know, and he just happened to get hit in the lip. I think that's why he got some blood on that one because he doesn't have a helmet on. You know, but he's interactive. He's very passionate about what he does. You know, I think Coach Lefford the same way. You know, Coach Lefford getting that offensive line fired up. You know, it's a different world when you put your hand down on the ground. Offense and defensive line. That little area right there, it's a different world. You got to be a different kind of guy to put your hand down on the ground. And Coach Ivy played D-line. Coach Lefford played, you know, in the NFL at offensive line, and they understand that world. If you talk to defensive linemen and offensive linemen, they'll tell you the same thing. And Coach Lefford always jokes with me. He said, "You ever put your hand in the dirt?" And no. You know, I'm a quarterback. You know, I'm one of these guys that want to live in that life. But it's a different world. But they're just, you know, getting their guys fired up, getting their guys ready to play. Everybody's different in how they do that, and you know, that's just the way they do it. You know, sometimes they have some casualties out there as far as some injuries go. But you know, it's because they care about their guys and they want to get the most out of them and have fun with it. I mean, I think that's the bottom line.
Last one, Tim.
When you were first hired, Vince Tyree talked about hunting a bowl game, and a lot of us thought it was pretty ambitious given what we saw last year. At what point did you feel that you had maybe a better level of talent here than was widely perceived, and perhaps that was a reasonable expectation?
Well, you know, I really hadn't looked at that. You know, obviously that's a goal, you know, you want to have, but we don't ever talk about it. We don't talk about it in the building, you know, and all that. Again, we just focus on our opponent and hope it's going to be good enough at the end of the season. But I think probably, I realized when we first had Notre Dame that once you go out, because I had no idea what to expect. You hadn't played a game yet. You just practiced. And you don't know. And so I think when we went into halftime at Notre Dame, I thought, man, we got some guys that go out here and compete and fight and, you know, play for each other and all the things that we talk about. And, you know, we didn't finish that game like we would like, the Notre Dame game, but then it'd come back the next week and you play, you know, EKU team and you get the big win with a shutout and, you know, so on and so forth. We've been able to get better and better. But I think really that first half, I just said, man, we got something to work with here. And I think that was, for me as a coach, because he didn't know, that was the big unknown, you know, and I think we've proven that over, it hadn't been pretty at times, you know, we've given up points, you know, left some plays out on the field, but I think overall body of work has been very solid, very competitive. Our kids have played hard. It's been fun to watch. That's all we can ask for out of these guys, and hopefully we'll continue on that with some of that with those wins in the last half. All right. Thanks, guys.